question? Yes, Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have given notice of the following private notice question addressed to the Honourable Minister of Land Transport, whether in regard to the measures announced in the Budget 2025-2026, with a view to reducing the number of vehicles on our roads, he will A, state if a prior study was carried out in relation thereto, and if so, indicate the outcome thereof and whether consultations were carried out with the stakeholders, and B, for the benefit of the House, obtain information as to the one estimated quantum of additional revenue to be generated over the period July 2025 to June 2026 in terms of revised excise duty and custom duty, registration duty and road motor vehicle license, and 2, the number of vehicles sold for the month June 2025.
Yes, Minister.
Madam Speaker, first of all, I would like to thank the Honourable Leader of Opposition for putting up this very important question, which undoubtedly concerns the whole population, just like the first PNQ he had addressed to me earlier this year on road safety. Madam Speaker, I would like to assure the Leader of the Opposition that the budget measures do not purport to reduce the number of vehicles on our roads, but it seeks to decrease the alarming rate of increase of vehicles which have gone out of control. Let me mention that for the first 6 months of this year, for a small island like Mauritius, a total number of 22,893, as at 29 June 2025, vehicles have been registered at the National Land Transport Authority. That is a whopping 200 vehicles approximately per day, the highest ever registered. This has been the trend over the last 10 years. Let me, Madam Speaker, mention that at the end of 2014, there were 10 years ago, there were 465,552 vehicles, while at date, there are 733,498. 733,498. That is an increase of 58% over the last 10 years. This is paradoxical, as during that period, alternative mode of transportation has been provided. The Metro Express is one of them, which ought to have triggered a decrease in the number of vehicles on our roads, but exactly the opposite have occurred, and like I said earlier on, at an alarming rate. This situation has led to 4 main problems. Number 1, road congestion. Number 2, road accidents. Number 3, air pollution. Number 4, parking problems and road rages. Let me dwell a little bit on the road congestion aspect, Madam Speaker. Well, since the Leader of Opposition has made mention of the word consultation in his substantive question, let me inform him that the Government Services Employees Association had raised the alarm bells regarding the congestions being faced by commuters. I personally met with them at the office, with the office bearers of the latter, informal meetings, to discuss these critical issues, and was made to understand that the main areas of concern were, like, for example, at the entrance of Port Louis and in Eben. In addition, the Honourable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, as well as a junior minister, as usually the case of finance, has had wide consultations with all stakeholders during pre-budget exercise. Madam Speaker, already traffic congestion has a huge cost, be it economically, environmentally, or socially. In fact, the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance has clearly explained during his budget speech that our import bill for vehicles is expected to be a drain of 20 billion rupees this year on our foreign exchange. At this stage, I can tell the House that this figure is likely to be exceeded. If nothing bold and courageous is done, the pressure on the forex market, our forex market, and our balance of trade will worsen significantly. Now, road accidents. Since we are at comparing figures, let me quote official figures from Statistics Mauritius regarding road accidents. In 2014, there were 51,398 vehicles that were involved in an accident. And this figure has reached 71,191 in 2023, representing an increase of nearly 40%. So both about number of vehicles increase on the road and number of road accidents, they tally. Now, Madam Speaker, I have in front of me the figures, and I will table it for the eyes of the Leader of the Opposition and for anyone who wants to have a look at it. Now, insofar as air pollution is concerned, Madam Speaker, our air quality has deteriorated from being, not long ago, about 12, 15 years ago, to the second position in the world in terms of best air quality, to today, we are now 6th in the world. Because more vehicles, coupled with the fact that our grid has become more polluting, as it uses more coal, as compared to the days of Maurice Durab. Well, I had already explained, Sebadan already had explained during his speech as well. Mine was on 21st of June 2023. And we all know who is responsible for his state affairs, that our grid has become more polluting. Like the Honourable Sebadan has always said, watch my eyes. The Honourable Minister was Minister of Public Utilities. Madam Speaker, insofar as part A of the question is concerned, the level of traffic congestion today in the country, the number of road accidents, and the air pollution we witness every day on our road, coupled with parking issues and the problem of road rages on our roads, besides the pressure on our forex reserve, speaks louder than any feasibility studies that any consultant could ever do. In fact, consultants have been coming here in Mauritius telling us that building more roads will solve the congestion problem. However, they've been wrong. Let me give clear examples on the concept of congestion gone, which myself I've canvassed over the last 2 budget speeches, in fact last week as well, which simply says the construction of more roads means more vehicles given time. This is proven. And the problem is compounded if the roads are wrongly built at the wrong locations. A glaring example is the flyover at Eben, where the traffic flow has worsened after the construction of the flyover on the Eben roundabout at the cost of more than ₹500 million during the mandate of where the Honourable Minister was Minister in Cabinet. And tomorrow, the Honourable Akhtil has a very pertinent question.
Don't talk about tomorrow.
Yeah. On
And keep the time.
On Hillcrest at Cathobon. She's put a PQ tomorrow. Another example, like I explained before, is the Sarge Bridge, which has had the contrary impact during peak time on the M1 motorway because it has diverted traffic from A1 onto the motorway. So at the entrance of Port Piece, every morning we have additional traffic coming from the West Coast. Madam Speaker, let me now come to the increase of MVL, motor vehicle license, that is also provided for in the budget. That is what we call road tax, also known as déclaration. I am informed that it was last increased in 2008, that is 17 years ago. Meanwhile, cumulative inflation has reached 90% over that period of time. Now, and meanwhile, the cost of operation and maintenance of road infrastructure has also increased substantially. This measure, amongst others, therefore seeks to address this huge imbalance. I am sure that the population will understand, and I hope the same will apply to the Leader of Opposition. Against the backdrop, Madam Speaker, the backdrop that I've just enumerated above, The reply to Part B of the question is as follows. The quantum of additional revenue to be generated over the period July 2025 to June 2026 are as follows. Excise and custom duty, 2.5 billion rupees. Registration duty, 100 billion rupees. Road motor vehicle license, that is declaration, 620 million rupees. Having said so, Madam Speaker, let me underline that the budget exercise of this year has abolished payment of registration duty on sale and transfer of domestic pre-owned vehicles, that is, vente de voitures locales, seconde main. This measure will, besides bringing significant facilities to vehicle or buying pre-owned vehicle, also addresses a long-standing illegal practice of sale of vehicle on papier blanc. I hope that the leader of opposition will appreciate that this practice has wide implications, and I don't think I need to dwell on elaborately on this because we all know what the implications are. But more importantly, this measure seeks to encourage transfer and sale of vehicles already in the motor vehicle park, espousing the very essence of the budgetary philosophy, which is to reduce the alarming rates of additional vehicles in our country. With regard to Part B2, I am informed by the Registrar General's Department that the number of vehicles sold in June 2025 is 7,304 as at 10 o'clock this morning.
Thank you, Minister.
No, I'm not finished. Madam Speaker, I have to mention that the government could have applied the guillotine, that means this budgetary measure, on the 6th of June 2025 itself. However, in a spirit of fairness, we have given a full 25 days for the population to acquire a vehicle on previous rate of taxes and rebated prices. The NLTA office, MRA, and the Registrar General's office have been working late, and even late on Saturdays, to facilitate the process. In fact, the number of new monthly vehicles reached a record number this month. I hope that the population and the leader of opposition will understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Your first supplementary, Leader of the Opposition.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Minister himself, in his reply, he said that those measures have created a situation of panic buying, and this was the case for the month of June. Because he mentioned the impact on foreign currency reserve, can I ask the Honourable Minister to inform the House what has been the impact on foreign currency reserve for vehicles which were sold during the month of June? Does he have an idea?
Madam Speaker, the leader of the opposition is a seasoned politician. He must be aware that the vehicles that have been sold during the month of June were already in Mauritius, were already here, already imported.
Can we let the Minister reply, please?
In a spirit of fairness, like I said earlier, the guillotine could have fallen on the same date, but the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, has been fair. It has given people ample time to buy their vehicle, which they would have bought anyway.
Yes, Honourable Leader.
Yes.
Second question.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. When I mentioned consultation in my main question, I meant consultation with key stakeholders such as taxi association, bus company owners, car rental operators, those who are directly affected by those measures. Can the Honourable Minister inform the House whether he has met with those stakeholders?
Madam Speaker, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition must surely be aware, since he has mentioned taxi drivers already benefit duty-free facilities to some extent. So still, this has not been reduced in any way, and it still apply. As regards the other operators that he has mentioned, I have, as at now, at the Ministry, we have at the Ministry 1,500 applications for licenses for professional vehicles and contract cars and all. So the demand is still there.
The question was, did you meet them?
Yes,
Let
Madam
me do
Speaker.
my job.
Like I said in my reply, I met those who have asked to be consulted by myself and the Honourable Minister of Finance and the Honourable Junior Minister have met during pre-budgetary consultation stakeholders, and if you want to have the name of the stakeholders that you have met,
Yes.
they will be able to
Yes,
provide
please
to you.
do that. Third
Yes.
supplementary.
Can the Honourable Minister inform the House what would be the percentage decrease with regard to sales of vehicles, that is cars, trucks, for the financial year 2025, 2026, and if any projection has been made for the next 3 financial years?
I'm sure the Honourable Leader of Opposition will understand that this is a new budgetary measure that seeks to decrease the alarming rate of vehicles on our roads, and I hope this will be the result of this, because we are giving facilities to those purchasing second-hand vehicles locally. So as the exact figures, given time, I can provide it to him. He can put substantive question, because guillotine is falling today. The deadline is today.
Yes,
It's a bit difficult to predict.
yes. So, fourth question.
So we understand that this is a measure.
Don't comment. Question, please.
Okay. With regard to contract car owners, has the ministry assessed the potential negative impact on the tourism sector, particularly regarding car rental rates?
Madam Speaker, I've replied last week in Parliament to a PQ from the Honourable Babaji, where I stated over the last 10 years, 7,000 contract car licenses have been issued. This is before the whole figure was 3,000. So it has more than doubled within the last 10 years. Surely, the Honourable Leader of Opposition will appreciate that there is ample stock on the market. I've met with operators, and they have submitted their application that is being processed right now. But as regards a lack of vehicles on the market, I've not been told about this.
Fifth question, I think. Yes?
Now, with regard to the annual motor vehicle licenses, can the Honourable Minister inform the House why the annual motor vehicle licenses for these type of vehicles, that is double cab pickup, owned by the following categories: planter, tea grower, beekeeper, fishermen, cattle, goat and sheep breeders, pig breeders, small enterprise, handicraft enterprise and trade unions, have all been increased, and will he agree that this measure is a sledgehammer on those categories of vehicle owners?
Yes, Minister.
Madam Speaker, I've explained at length in my initial reply that the last time the declaration was increased was
17
years ago.
years ago.
Now, meanwhile, the cumulative inflation rate has reached 90%. Now, there are a lot of facilities that is being provided to the stakeholders that the Honourable Minister has just mentioned. But, Madam Speaker, we have to meet the cost of operation, especially with the bilan that the former government has left us to deal with. And also our road infrastructure. There has to be investment in order to keep up with all kinds of issues, including road safety, which he canvassed himself during the first PNQ he had addressed to me. So this is the philosophy of increasing declaration, Madam Speaker.
You have a paper that just arrived. Can that help?
The philosophy for
One moment.
small...
I'm also informed that they are already paying concession rate, to reply to your specific question.
Yes.
This is the philosophy of government with regard to
Don't
small and
comment,
medium
leader.
enterprises. With regard to the annual retention that government intend to charge owners of vehicles who have opted to vary the registration mark of their vehicles from the current registration mark to an old or personalized registration mark. Is he aware that the NLTA has already delivered 32,062 such registration mark from 1st October 2021 to 30th July 2024, and a total amount of 627 million rupees have already been paid to the NLTA by the owners of those vehicles. Does the Minister find it normal for those vehicle owners to pay an annual retention fee? And may I ask the Honourable Minister whether this is legally in order?
And how much?
Answer.
Yes, Madam Speaker. This measure will provide additional choice to potential vehicle owners going forward, because new numbers will be unlocked. There will be more variety of numbers for them to pick from, like I had explained during my speech on the budget. And the new rates will apply to those new numbers.
Can we have
Yes.
can we have an indication of the new rates?
Okay.
How much will it be monthly?
Can we have that?
Madam Speaker, this measure is currently being worked out at length with the Ministry of Finance, and we will communicate the rates in due course.
Okay.
One last one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
With regard to electric cars, will the Honourable Minister, because he was very much involved in the project Maurice Durable, will he agree that this decision to reintroduce excise duty on electric cars is a terrible step back on our engagement in COP21?
You're asking
Yeah,
for
but
his opinion.
When we know, Madam Speaker, that the trend worldwide is for electric vehicles.
It's not proper for you to ask for his opinion. Ask him fact for facts.
Madam Speaker,
Minister, try and give us a good answer.
I'll try my best.
Good.
Madam Speaker, the Honourable Minister was Minister of Energy and Public Utilities.
Don't repeat that every time. We know that. Tell us what you feel and how.
I said it because this is a report that has remained at his ministry unimplemented. It dates back January 2020, just before the minister was nominated as minister.
What report? Which report?
And over and above, there was a committee at his ministry, Electric Vehicle Implementation and Monitoring Committee, which had to come out with a national battery plan also, since we are talking about environment and renewable energy. But nothing has been done at the level of his ministry, and we don't even know the outcome of that committee, for which the Cabinet of Ministers at that time had given him the responsibility to chart across.
Yes.
May I ask the Honourable Minister whether he is aware or he can confirm that the sale of electric cars back in 2019 was 110. Today, it stands at almost 2,000 electric vehicles.
Madam Speaker, and what is the consequence of this? The consequence of this is as follows. 10 years ago, our grid was producing 23.4% of renewable energy. Today, under his ministerial watch, this is 17%. So the grid has become even more polluting. That is why our air quality has deteriorated from being second in the world when I was in charge of Île du Rap, and we are 6th worldwide today. So electric vehicle, Madam Speaker, is not clean in Mauritius because our grid uses coal to charge those same electric vehicles.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Duval?
I asked the Honourable Minister whether he's prepared to review what we consider the nonsensical measure to impose an obligation to pay second-hand cars by banker's check. Especially that, as the Minister knows, people will have to wait for days to wait for a banker's check. How is it going to work when you're going to pay a deposit? Will that then have to be refunded by the purchaser who's cashed it? Because the measure says essentially by banker's check. So may we know the details of how it will work, and if we'll be able to deduct the deposit, etc., etc.
Madam Speaker.
Did you understand?
It's a bit all over the place, but I'll try to figure out what he has said. Madam Speaker, we are a responsible government. And as far as possible, we try to comply with international regulations, and one of them will be the anti-money laundering legislation. So we don't do things without any reason. You are saying it's nonsensical. If you go and read, maybe you will understand the philosophy behind it.
You're done? One last one.
Madam Speaker, in view of the fact that the measures in this year's budget will greatly affect the majority of vehicle owners, for example, for a 1,500cc hybrid car, there will be a 50% increase. For a 1,500cc conventional car, 70% increase, Madam Speaker.
Yes, question.
So, will the Honourable Minister consider aborting completely these measures or review at least the rate of increase?
Yes, Minister. Stop telling him what to do, please.
Speaker,
Yes, Minister.
the Honourable Leader of Opposition is talking about percentage. But when you look at figures, they are not much. 1,005, 1,000 rupees, 2,500 rupees. Well, some of them. But then, like I said earlier, the philosophy. No. I'm giving.
One moment. Yeah. One moment. Mr. Jaman, do you want to come and sit here? All right. Let me do my job. I hope I won't have to tell you again today. And Leader, please don't comment. Minister.
So, Madam Speaker, like I said,
nobody's respecting you. We talked of respect today. Nobody's respecting you. Please let the minister speak. Carry on.
so what do you suggest that I do?
No, you speak now.
Okay. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Leader of Opposition has understood the point that I've raised earlier, that in between 17 years ago and now, the cost of operation has increased because inflation rate has increased by 90%. So this is the philosophy behind this. And since he has pinpointed hybrid vehicles, let me remind him again, under his ministerial watch, he was given specific responsibilities for electric and hybrid vehicles, which he has not delivered. So today, the problem of batteries, if he wants to claim the question of eco-friendliness, at the end of the life cycle of the batteries of the hybrid vehicles, you need to do something about it, whether you recycle, how do you dispose of it? But his committee has not delivered. So today we are in a flu with the good intention behind hybrid vehicles.
Okay, that was the last question. Thank you very much, everyone.